And a very fine good evening in Gaia's Zoom room on April 27th, 2021. Welcome, Joan.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
It is so good to be here. You know, with all that's going on in the world out there, it's certainly good to be here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. My compassion is never ending for the people who are challenged in these times, and grateful, deeply grateful for the work that people do. Yeah. So work people do. I actually did some work today.
You did?
Oh, I did. Yeah. Stumbled in.
How are your legs feeling?
Yeah, well, they're not as good as I'd like.
No, but
they're not good. They're not good.
Was it difficult to be outside? That's what I'm thinking.
Standing is not easy right now.
Yeah, I would think so.
And I'm looking forward to getting the on the road to wellness with Dr. Farnsworth.
Okay, on the road again.
Yeah, a naturopath, and the first time I'm actually going through that process and feeling confident and optimistic, and
that's good. You're lucky to be able to have one up there.
Well, yeah, and then I spoke to someone else today. The house inspector, who said that he's been involved with naturopaths for many years. It's like, really, there's not that many people going to naturopaths, are there? Maybe I'm wrong. How nice would that be? I'd really like that.
I'd like one up here, but we don't have a whole lot. It's weird, but
that's just
homeopaths are not up here. I mean, you can get in touch with.
You get lots of allopaths, but none of the really ones that. Yeah, well, I call them drug pushers.
Drug pushers. Yeah, I prefer not to go with the allopathic method, but
they're good for the things that they're good at.
There's not a lot up here for naturopaths. I mean, it's not that there's not people who want them, but they don't seem to be coming up here. Now, across the river is possibly where they may be more, because that's where you have New Paltz and Woodstock and places like that, or across the river. And they probably are over there a little bit more than they are on this side of the river.
Well, that's with the Our Heart Gardens plan. The naturopaths would be part of the the
that
pillars.
Would be so cool,
wouldn't it?
Oh gosh, yes.
Oh my, to be actually taken care of by our medical profession, paying attention where we live, as opposed to having to go and not see them, or see them for 10 minutes and that 3 minutes of that is taken up with, hi, how are you? How
are you doing today?
Yeah, well, you got to have some kind of human contact, otherwise you can't diagnose.
Right.
People are not going to tell you about their bleeding hemorrhoids. They don't actually know who you are. Oh my. And so the things that don't get done and taken care of, and the suffering that people go through with these embarrassing ailments, because they don't have the time to get to that vulnerable place where you can admit these things.
True. And so, and it's harder now to really go. I mean, the hospitals and the doctor's offices have been open, but it's still more difficult to get into them. Although we are moving toward, having, like, I think the hospitals have opened to people coming in to visit, and that hadn't happened for a year.
And that's wonderful. I hope that doesn't come back to bite them.
Well, they wouldn't let them in unless they knew that they had to be, would probably have to be tested. They do quick tests. And
Joan, the virus is on the bodies. It's part of our ecosystems now. And
but the hospitals are careful.
They are very
to not allow people in who can cause infection.
Of course they are.
Yeah, so
they're trying to
that's the important thing.
Yeah, and they're doing all that they can to prevent more outbreaks. Let's face it, those outbreaks come back, and that's because they have to deal with it then.
Yeah, the outbreaks come back because people are not going along with the
protocols.
The protocols.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Yeah, well, it's a mess out there.
It's a mess out there. There's a song or something going through my head right now.
So do you have that lovely piece of music to start us off, or at least a little piece of it?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I do. I have to go into
Yeah, of course you do. And we should figure out, the 30 seconds or the minute, the section of it that we're going to use.
Yeah. I think that I should put it on my desktop.
I think you're right.
Yeah, absolutely. But oh gosh, I have to click on the right thing here.
Oh, well, don't be in a rush. Let me speak to you while you're mucking about
clicking there. On the wrong window. They look alike to me.
They all look alike. So I thought I'd let you know that giving into a moment of weakness, I mentioned to Leah Lamb, I actually sent a contact form to Leah Lamb, telling her that I want to work with her on my story, but I want to know, but I'm kind of interested in getting a soul story written by her. Ooh. Now, you put things off and you put things off and you say no and you say no and you say no. And up until a point where you say yes.
Right. True.
And that's what happened today. Yeah. I went through more of the stuff that she sends because she sent out another email and another story. And it's like, I just love the way she weaves her stories, the way she tells her stories. They're beautiful. And so I responded. It's like, she's giving so much. I decided that, I want to follow up on this. And so I sent her the email saying, I want this soul story, and the soul story is something that she writes for people. It's a channeling, and it's done in her story style. And so I was concerned that she might not, like Alex with the rune readings, she might not want to know too much about me. Before she allows the story to come through. So and with the soul stories, it's a chunk of change. It's kind of uncomfortable, but I want to enable her to do this kind of thing in a beautiful way.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's like,
I have the music, so just let me know.
Okay, let's do that.
No, but finish what you were saying.
Well, okay. Well, the soul stories that she does, it's if it is like Alex and who likes to not have too much information, then it's just a channeling from above or from the other side of the veil. And I'm interested. It takes an hour for this to happen. and I don't know how she works. So does she want to know, is this a back and forth kind of thing, or is it just the hour that is recorded, or does she get input before she goes? I don't know how she works. So that's basically what I asked for, is how do you work? What would you prefer? And then I left it open with the idea that I work with her on the story. It's like she has spark right now going on. It starts today. And I decided not to go through with that because it sounds to me like it's for people who need to reframe their story.
What spark?
A child from a broken home. I was brought up by my mom. You know, how do you reframe?
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I spoke my history once to Mary Leonard, a shaman down in Cortez, Colorado, a very good friend of mine. And in my my telling of the story, her feedback to me was that she didn't hear any unhealed trauma in it. And I thought to myself, well, I did that well. Well, it's all in how do you frame it, right? It's, you know,
some of us are able to go through a trauma and still come out being able to move on.
Yeah, it's and though you say the words in a positive way, in that moment, other moments might have you saying the story in a different way. And so the rewriting and the owning of that story, of that version of the story that empowers you is worthy work. Worthy work.
Oh, sounds good then.
And so I'd like to invite the music at this moment.
Of course. And so it is called Gardenscapes.
Gardenscape.
And there is a point where you said you would like I could make an actual separate thing of just the piece that we'll use every time it comes.
That sounds like a really good idea.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, so here we go.
And I'm carry on.
Gardenscape.
Oh, did you share a screen?
Oh, I'm sorry. I should have. Hold on.
Yeah, it's the only way we're going to hear it.
That's true. Oh, how silly of me.
That's all good. It's all good.
Okay, so
technology.
Yeah, I know. Here we go.
I'd like to invite you to think at this moment about your life and all the things that have been and past, and the dreams of what's to come. That's good.
Right there?
Yeah, just before this change in music.
Okay. I will find out where that was. I know what it, where it is. So.
Good.
So
we're getting there. We're getting there, Joan.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Building this room, sound wall by sound wall.
Exactly. Very good. No, that's good. So now I figured it would be there, but that's good. I know exactly where it should be on the.
Well, thank you so much for taking care of that for us, Joan.
Yeah. It is such an appropriate little thing. It's got the word garden in it, and it's so.
And the scaping part. Let's scape, man.
Yeah.
Let's scape.
But it's also such a gentle piece of music.
Yeah.
A very sitting in front of a fireplace with my feet up on the hassock, and it's just so cozy. That's what he's doing, and
very appropriate. Very appropriate indeed.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, the reframing idea came from Glenn Anderson, from his nonviolent communication and movement making workshop last night. It was our last session last night.
Yeah.
And it was very good.
I was going to ask you how to go.
Stretching my brain. He talked about a lot of things. The need to speak the language of the people that are coming in. It's like I tried to take what he was saying and putting it into the website. You know, how do we use that lovely little piece that Stan wrote the other day in order to facilitate the come on in, the welcome to the Our Heart Gardens website. Speaking their language is important. And I think about, you know, my language is so different from the business language that I was required to speak when I was in corporate Canada. And I appreciate having, you know, more than just my words coming through this. I need a different perspective, people with different words. I read other people's words and I'm okay with that. It's like using Stan's words to describe my purpose. And how wonderful was that? His words actually gave me a way around to see the possibilities that have been seeded into my lifeline. Because I feel very purpose built. And not sculpted for my purposes, but sculpted for Spirit's purpose. It's like I keep butting up against this. I don't know how, or you know, I'm not enough, or I'm hardwired for co-creation. Well, these things are invitations for me to find the missing pieces. And I really feel that the struggle that I'm going through, because I've made it available to the public, it is, I've been led to make it public. It is, I'm kind of doing the experiencing and experiencing the lessons and making the extrapolations and the learnings to help others perhaps do their learning as well.
Sure.
At least to open a few windows, you know, air out this stuffy room.
Right. It's true.
It's funny, you know, that goes right back to Rotterdam. You know, when I was at that women's festival, and the women from that area came to me and they said, Shannon, will you open a workshop for us? Because nobody comes to listen to us, but everybody will come to listen to you because they don't respect us because they're so used to us. And how do we get them to listen to us? So we want you to come and talk. And so I was more than willing. And their spin on their talk was to open windows so that the young people would, you know that they were there for consultation, for listening, and they were beautiful women and so different. And from the time when I was growing up, a little bit too young to be in, you know, the universities during the protest years. But I was watching and I was inspired by these people who were doing things outside the box and then turning around and beating the box up. Yeah. So I was so honored in that moment to be a part of that. And now it seems that I'm doing that.
But that led, you know, each step we take leads us to an ability or opens the door for an evolution in ourselves, you know, being thinking I can't do or I don't know how to do becomes a thing of the past, because once you do it, it's there. You have the experience. It's like when you take a road trip and you go to a specific place. Well, the next time that you leave your house and go to that place, you know how to get there.
Yeah. It's easy to get there.
Yeah. It's true.
And he also said, Glenn also mentioned, make it easy to understand and take action.
Okay, and how did he express that process?
When he's talking about making a movement, you know, and I'm translating it over into, okay, so how do I make my website do what it needs to do in order to support the movement that is already happening? Make it easy to understand. So and my awareness of the fact that some people are not metaphysical.
True. They're very logical.
Yeah, and practical. And we need all of these kinds of people. And how to reach them without them bumping up too hard on the parts that make them go,
Right. Or that they might feel,
yeah.
But again,
I want as little of that as possible.
Yeah, but what is the process of helping people to understand? Because when we try to help someone to understand, a group of people to understand, each one of those people are going to understand in a different way. Yeah. It's like I don't know if this is the same thing, but this is what came into my mind just now. When I was in high school, we had a social studies class.
Yep.
And the social studies teacher set up a situation where something would happen in the room. And then after it was over, she needed to hear how each one of us saw it, experienced it. And everybody had a different take on it. And that's the whole point of helping people to understand, so that they really don't have a different take on it, that they understand exactly what you're saying. And that's the hardest part, you know. And
well, see, that's the thing, and it that's why I want to get the master storyteller to help me with the conceptualizing of this. Leah has training, and her website is beautiful. I'm here for co-creation. And I have had people say things to me that make me realize that there are other people here who expect me. And I don't know who they are. And so the only way I can find out who they are is by asking.
Yeah.
And you know, there was one fellow who said that he had a dream of a woman with silver hair on a balcony in the moonlight. And it was me. And I had a woman say, when she saw me for the first time wearing lace, she said, "Oh, there you are."
As if she had
expected to see me wearing lace, and I hadn't until then. And then she recognized me. So it's like, these are the kinds of things that have happened to me, and they have informed me as well about, you know, how I'm going to go forward. I love when people give me that kind of directions. It's like, I don't think it was lace, it's actually crochet work. And I wear crochet work quite a bit now because of Joanne.
Yeah.
And I love crochet work. It's kind of gross lace, you know, big lace.
Well, yeah, it's open air, and yeah.
I just love it. And it's been winter and it's been really cold. So having, so that has, so I'm thinking that maybe Leah is also one of these people who might have her antenna up.
Have you ever considered, and the reason I say this is because the lady, I told you this before, I think, the woman who married Alex and I
was a channeler.
Yeah. And at one point, I mean, I knew her. I knew her mom, and I knew her. And at one point, we went to this place where they were having a psychic fair, and they had a class on how to channel. And it's a matter, I suppose, of, you know, just the way people learn how to meditate in what is the best way for them. So have you ever considered finding the place inside of you that can channel?
That tension?
That place that can channel.
Oh, that place that can channel. I have been beating around that bush rather severely for the last 4 or 5 years.
But if you speak with people who have been there, and you go to places where it's taught, then you begin to understand how it works. Because, I mean, the one time that I went to the class, in that moment, I was able to do something that I hadn't really thought about, or how to do it, or, you know, whatever. And then, of course, it's gone, it's passed, because I didn't continue. But to be with someone who does this and to learn not just from them, you know, about yourself, but learn how to do what they do.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, but that may be part of what she does.
It might be. I would support that conjecture. I do believe that she would be, and I've got her. Did I close them all? Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did. I closed them all. Oh, well. There are ways of going around that problem, though. It's like free masterclass replay, recently closed. See how easy that is.
Wow.
Medicine stories. Harry and the Gift by Leah Lamb, free listening on SoundCloud. Oh, that was so sweet. Online soul story circles. Yeah, she's got a lot. I want to give you the medicine stories.
Cool.
I intend. There you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's really beautiful what she has put together here. And it starts with soul stories. And that's the thing that I'm interested in getting before we actually start working on my story. The one that
that's good.
Yeah. We shall see how that goes. That's kind of exciting. But I looked at what was going on, or what is going on in my life. Mm-hmm. You know, there's this great gaping hole left by humanity rising in the after chat.
Yeah.
And, you know, going back and, you know, that's work I've done. I'm proud of the work that I did there. Mm-hmm. And I need a new pond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we know when we need to move on.
Yeah. Well,
and we do. And we take with us what we learned.
Yeah.
From the previous thing. It's not like we don't.
Yeah. And I would like to mention that the 27th, the 26th, 27th of April is the full moon. Yes, the full moon. And so we might, in Gaia's Zoom room, the way it should be, we might pull a couple of cards a little bit later. Yeah, I figure that's a valid thing to do.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So before we do that, perhaps you would like to hear a few questions that I wrote down.
Oh, good. Oh, good questions. I like questions.
Well, it's just, you know, I do my homework. So
that's
hang
my girl.
on. Just
okay.
And I'll pull up. I call it website emerging. That's what I call it.
Nice.
Okay, so on the 26th, because the last one before that. Okay, so on the 26th, I wrote these things down. Watching the high-low storytelling deck you mentioned. Right. So that was something that I thought was something we should look into if we haven't looked into it.
That presentation was quite interesting. And yes, we should go through that. Do you have the link to it there?
Well, I know that I have, let me see, down below. Hang on just a second. I know that I do because I went there. I think it's in my browser. Now, the next part is in one of the parts, it speaks of that what we've lost trust in. One of them is have lost trust in our planet, which I think isn't quite accurate personally. That's what I thought about. We've destroyed our planet. She is just rebuilding what was, in my opinion.
Doing her best.
Yeah. So I kind of didn't really think that we.
So they got some things to tweak, and you know, and I've got some things to tweak, and I think that this is how we make progress.
Right.
You know, right. And I'm. In order to create the best co-creation, we have to accept that we're going to be wrong in some things.
True. I was just, reading through it, and my first thought was, I haven't lost trust in Gaia.
No, the one thing that I can trust is her.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And I think what the problem is, here's what my mind went to.
Please.
Because of the fact that what we have done has created a different type of change in the weather, they see it as not trusting. I don't know if that's true and what they were talking about, but I think when people see that things are not the way they grew up
not what they expect.
I don't know if that's true, but anyway, that's just my take on it.
I thank you very much for bringing that forward. I think it's important that we reframe these ideas that we have come up with, and what do we really believe?
Right, exactly. And how can we transform a sense of distrust into a sense of if a person is not
how do we
feeling,
lean into her?
Yeah.
How do we lean into her and help her?
Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah. Instead of distrusting, help.
Yeah.
So the next part was, well, I can do it like this. It got big, but in another part, they speak of building trust in our relationships. So my question is, how do we do this? I would like to hear their thoughts on that. I'd like to see their process in this. When we speak globally, we're dealing with centuries of distrust in the surrounding and far-reaching places that share this world. Again, in my opinion. So that was another thing that I brought up.
Joan, the issue of trust is so huge. And, I've had that recent situation where trust is now an issue. And how do I get past that?
That's why I asked, what is their process?
Yeah. It would be,
because it's important to know if somebody's come up with an idea that works, share it with the world.
The truth being, I think that it's work in small groups. I can't think of anything else that would work as well. But it's important to know.
Yeah. So, may the force be with you. Are you coughing or sneezing? Either way, may the force be with you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, coughing.
The next part that I wrote down was the food security speaks directly to your idea. I saw that right away.
Well, the thing is that the gardens are, what Stan said, they're everywhere already. It's just the identification. of the gardens as the hearts of their community that pump the goodness into the whole fabric of reality.
Right.
Yeah. And I really believe the identification of it as our heart gardens will enable that to be visible and allow the movements.
Yeah.
Paul Hawkins movements.
My last question.
Yeah.
No, it probably isn't my last. I've got a whole
Good.
lot. Yes.
More
okay,
questions.
I do. Okay, my last one, the next one rather, is: are you planning on becoming a part of Hilo?
I'm thinking Hilo is similar to Slack in as much as it is a tool. And
because you can become a member.
Yeah. I am thinking very seriously of that. Yes.
Yeah. I thought that might be a good thing because, again, getting in touch with as many people.
Well, yeah, and to have Stan with his other networks also, coming in with that, I think this is a really big piece.
Yeah,
and I believe that Hilo could be doing what is necessary, another piece of the puzzle of how it all fits together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got really excited about Hilo when I.
Yeah, I know, and when I was reading through that thing, and I thought, well, becoming a part of it, joining in, with your ideas.
Well, the idea of bringing you into that meeting with Hilo that I'd like to set up, you and Stan and Julie, so that, from my point of view, that seems like a really powerful unit to talk to Hilo about what we have in mind.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if, well, that I'm not sure about a lot of things, and that's okay.
But that's okay. That's why we ask questions. So I realized the things that were below that were things that I've previously asked. I'm keeping them into one.
Oh, good. So the newer questions are at the top.
At the top, yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's very good.
Yeah. So that was what I came up with after going through that, and so I think that's a really good idea. To kind of look into, because they invite people to join.
Yeah. I mean, it really seems exactly the kind of tool that's necessary. I mean, I was interested in Bruce Schumann's origin because I imagined something like Hilo, but it didn't work out, and I'm okay with that. The Hilo, bunch of young people doing amazing things together. It's not just one man, and so I'm quite pleased that Spirit has pulled me in this direction.
Yeah. This just comes into my head, having not written it down, but another group that might be good to look at, and I'm not really quite sure how cohesive they are at the moment, would be medicine people, Nako's group.
Medicine for the people.
Medicine for the people.
What I would like to suggest, Joan, now that you have that document up, at the top of the document, if you wouldn't mind writing down Nako and Medicine for the People and Seco Labs. Because it seems to me that I do so agree with you. Nako would be just so perfect.
Tell me about Cico. How do you spell Cico?
Cico.
Thank you.
And there's something that Jamin at the conversation, at which we are, he and Stan Pokris from other networks, have been going, and that's on Mondays. And so on Monday, I have an appointment, a plan to join their meeting. And I think it starts at noon Pacific time, which would make it 9 o'clock your time.
Cool.
You okay with that? Because I would really like to have you there as well.
Yeah, I would have to see, once you give me the full info at time and place and that, I can tell you if
you're available.
If I'm available. Hang on, let me just go finding out the place that I was just a few moments ago. That's me. Yes. Okay, so. Okay, so today is 4/27.
I have to remember that the ways of working change in this new paradigm.
Yeah.
And the running to get things done, the running after, oh, I'm missing this, I'm missing that, that fear of missing out, FOMO, it is going to be and is going in the direction of not being valid anymore. It is the trust that we are learning to realize that we're being triggered in the best possible way at the proper times to do the things that we're supposed to do.
Yeah.
And if
it comes around.
If we're not triggered to do something, don't do it.
Right. But also when we don't do something at one point, when we, either think, I don't have the time or whatever, that's going to come around again.
It's like this Leah thing. I mean, she's been coming around now. I have not taken her off my mailing list, but that's because there's this interest there. But she has kept coming around. And each time it is a little more refined. What do I want from her? Or what do I want to create with her? Or how do we go forward together?
Yeah.
And so allowing it to be not this time, not this time,
right.
Not this time, and then now. And that's what I put in my, the reline on my, I think it's time, ...
Especially because when you see certain new things that come up, then it's like, okay, this is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah. Well, what I really have to accept is that I can, fumble around, and I do, in all of my conjecturing, right up until I decide on taking a step forward and asking for clarity. Clarity comes. Yeah, at least that's the plan. I trust that plan. Yeah. I trust that plan. I have been never let down, but disappointed that it's not time now. And dealing with that and being satisfied with what is, and that's part of the adjustment to the new paradigm as well.
Yeah, it is.
Looking at dandelions like these ones as food and beauty instead of it's a weed.
I've never thought of that of them, but then I wouldn't, because
no, you're that special kind of person. And
yeah. Oh, they were out there this evening, and
the foxes.
Yeah. I mean, they're usually there in the morning, but I was, was going over to close the curtains. Getting a little on the, dimmer side outside. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I didn't see the mother, but there were at least 4 or maybe 5 of the kits that were out there, and they were just tumbling around. Oh my gosh. They're just so gorgeous.
I'm so glad.
And I'm so glad that they have a place to have a place.
Yeah. Yeah. A home is a wonderful thing to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually, I've been here since the middle of December. I finally actually, moved in.
Yeah.
No more boxes.
That's so wonderful.
Almost no more boxes. But yeah.
Little by little.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Everything's changeable. You never know for sure. And you do the best you can. No guarantees. Oh, death and taxes. Oh, and taxes. Taxes weren't a thing until the Second World War, I believe, up in Canada anyway.
I have no clue.
There were
I wasn't born then.
No, I know. No, they actually, the income taxes were started to pay off the war. Or pay for the war. And they just never stopped.
Because they realized the government needed or wanted whatever.
Needed more money. And they do they have a purpose. So, I'm not saying they don't deserve some.
Right. Not as much as they. Yeah. I'm going to take my pill here just for a minute. It's 10. Okay. Alex? Yeah. Take your pills. He's going to go take his pills.
Good.
So how about the reading?
How about that? Yeah. I did a reading earlier. And I sent it to you. Ooh. And I don't know if you got that, but it's a big reading. But I thought it was really good. Ooh. So maybe we'll have a look at that one first. Would you like that?
Let me go and open that window and that window. And okay, let me look down. Let me see. First of all these other people coming in are getting in the way of my seeing your stuff. Petro Home Services. What do you guys want? Oh, don't need to know. Energy. I'm just sort of getting rid of the things that come in that are just advertisements and stuff. Okay, full moon, April 2021.
That's one. Now, what's really true, now that I made you go and find that, it occurs to me that we could look at my email and make it part of a share screen so that people watching this later would be able to see what we're talking about.
Well, no problem, because I found it at least.
Yeah, well, now you get to see it, and now they get to see it, and so we'll all know what's going on.
Yes,
sort of. Okay, so there we go.
Oh, nice.
So, full moon in April 2021 calls for light shining in dark places, seeking clarity of the magic going on in my life. And so the significator was the Queen of Cups reversed. Now let me take you down to the bottom where the image is so that you can see what we're talking about.
Oh, wow. That's a big reading. Nice.
Well, yeah, it is. So I want to break this out. How do we break this out? In new window. Okay. I think we can.
Oh, look, that's a cool thing.
Yeah, here we go. Now, what didn't quite do what I want, because I want to have this
picture
as well. Go down, 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 down.
Yeah.
That picture.
There it is. Okay, so the Queen of Cups reversed is in the middle. Am I right?
Just cleaning up my desk, girl.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so make this a little bit longer. Okay. Queen of Cups right here.
That's what I thought. In the middle.
So there she is.
Very nice.
Yeah, and she's a beautiful card. It's a beautiful card. It's really unfortunate she's upside down. But
what deck?
Hmm?
What deck?
It is the Cosmic Tarot.
Ah.
And
I used to really like that. I remember looking at that and just being like,
I've not seen it before. So
okay,
the tarot sampler of the Fool's Dog is excellent.
The reason I know about the Cosmic Tarot is because I used to go to tarot.com and they had every single day you could look at what the card of the day was, but they had all these decks and I used to go through all the decks and look at them constantly.
Oh, well, you know,
there's Cosmic was really amazing. I liked it.
Yeah, well, I was quite impressed. A woman with blue skin. I mean, that's really to be paid attention to.
Absolutely.
This card means graceful, beautiful, kind, noble, dignified, tolerant, mediating, poetic, subjective, vicious, unreliable.
So what's the reverse?
And in reverse, I would think that it has to do with not being aware of it.
Of what she has?
Of all that she is.
All that she
has.
Okay, cool. That makes a lot of sense.
That's the best thing I can come up with. So events ending is up in here. Now this reading, what it's doing is for each of these questions, it gives 3 cards, and most often 2 cards pertain, the third one may not.
Okay.
Which makes it kind of multiple choice and the things that you don't want to accept, you don't have to accept, and you just it may come into play in your life anyway.
Right.
So the 3 cards that we've got here are the events ending, and I'm so impressed with this.
Legacy of the Divine. Oh, I bought that deck for myself.
Did you? That's just a beautiful deck.
Well, so, Sierra Machete is, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and the 10 of Swords has that beautiful man in such pain being pierced by 10 swords.
Yeah.
And events ending, having that painful thing ending. I am so all over that.
Yeah. It's a transition card. 10 is always transition away from the pain into what comes next.
It says, but if there is any positive here, it is that this is as bad as it gets.
And you're moving away.
Rock bottom. The only way after this is up. So it's the first of 3 optional cards. So we'll try the next one. The Tower.
Okay. Give it to us, please.
Yeah.
And that's upright. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is ending. So Oh man, I am so glad about that. That's two out of
three. 2
3
endings, yeah.
And so the third one is the reversed Ace of Stones, the foundation of life. So it's almost like saying it's the other two. Obviously, it's the other two.
It's the reversed Ace of Pentacles. Is that what the stones is?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. 8 of Earth.
They call it the stones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I figure
that's the baby, adorable little baby.
What little baby? What?
The fawn, Ace of Earth.
Oh, right. Yeah, in the Gaia Tarot. Yeah. And I don't, this is going into the past anyway. So I think the Tower and the 10 of Swords are just fine.
Yeah.
Beginning. And that would be here. And we get 9 of Wands reversed.
That's the 9 of Fire. That's very good.
Well, you are facing challenges and must marshal all your strength to hold your ground. Keep sight of your interests. Be ready to stick up for yourself, defend your position or assets. Draw on your experiences and hard-earned lessons. Unexpected setbacks are coming your way, but don't be discouraged. You do have what it takes to get through these battles. Are you feeling reluctant or defensive about something? You may be struggling with some feelings of paranoia. You may feel that people are out to get you or that you're not liked or appreciated. Reversed, this card indicates that your fears are not based in reality. Stand up for yourself and your accomplishments, but don't create demons from shadows.
And this is the 9 of Wands reversed.
Right.
So what, to me, while it's wands, it could be what you're physically going through. Does that occur to you?
No. No. Well, I appreciate that thought. That's
because it's like this the idea of like being paranoid in the sense of dealing with your physical health at the moment is scary because you don't want it to come in and disrupt your daily work.
Yeah.
And so that's why I brought that part in, because it doesn't specifically speak to what might be causing anxiety or things like that.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's good. Thank you so much. When I was going through it myself, I came up with I'd prefer to think this was the discard.
Okay.
Because the other two are okay. It's 7 of Cups, upright. Now, when I think of 7 of
choices.
Cups, Gaia Tarot, choices.
Yeah.
And in this one, the 7 of Cups is a card of imagination, dreams, and flights of fancy. This card can indicate that the person is scattering their energies or is dealing with too many options. It represents living in a dream world, avoiding responsibilities and creating illusions. Now,
what deck?
Crystal Visions. So,
Crystal Visions.
Yeah, the card actually has a young woman riding a dragon. And so that's why I wrote into here, I'd love to ride a dragon into a dream, but it could be too many options or scattered energies. It really could be that.
I remember very distinctly when most of the time Gaia Tarot was it, okay? But one of the cards in a deck, the Robin Wood deck, that sticks with me very vividly is the 7 of Cups, because she's sitting there and there's 7 options around her, each one of which she wants to do.
Yeah.
And so how do you pick? How do you choose? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that kind of, it's very, it stuck with me because there's just so many things that,
yeah.
And I know that that's something that has been going on with you. You know, you were involved with Humanity Rising and the after chat and doing so many things, and you wanted to do that, you wanted to do that. And so that kind of made me think of that.
Well, and that.
But these are events beginning.
This is beginning. And so I am getting choices of what to do. I mean, there was a time when I was, you know, turning off my computer every night. And that lasted for about a week. I'm trying. The point being that I don't make choices as easily as some people, and I don't like to leave myself with no options.
Right.
And so I like to leave my options open, all of my windows all over my screen. But I'm learning how to deal with them.
You know, and again, the things that don't seem like they're, you know, either useful anymore or that they're really kind of way out of space, you know, out of space or something at the moment. So yeah, I mean, it gives you the sense of like, I have a lot of things I want to do. What's the one that I want to do the most, or what's the one that's the best thing for me to do at the given moment?
Yeah,
so that makes sense.
Yeah. And so the third card in the event's beginning is the 8 of Cups.
Ah, 2 cups.
Yeah, and this
7
is from
to the 8.
Yes. And this is from the Anna Kay Tarot, and I'm not familiar with it, but
I've seen the Anna Kay in 2 readings that I had from the dog. What do we call it?
Fool's Dog.
But again, I go back to Robin Wood, and this is a person standing on a road, walking away from the cups. I mean, literally, I'm going in my own way. I am not going to do it the way you all want me to do it.
Oh.
This is my life, and I'm going to do it my way.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because what this one, the words in this is the 8 of Cups represents a departure full of wistfulness that nevertheless happens of our own free will. Mostly we depart because we have realized that it is high time to walk a different path, our own path. It is time for us to be independent, to let go of old securities and convictions. So while this departure is connected with wistfulness and a heavy heart, staying would just confine us and make true advancements impossible. Exactly. Now, this could actually be referring to Humanity Rising in the after chat.
And it could,
and yet that's old. Because I left a month ago.
That's true, but you know, physically leaving and then emotionally leaving or mentally leaving are different things.
You're right. You're right. And
you know,
I don't know what this means, and that's okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you that card.
Oh, you want me to stop
here's the 7.
Wait a minute. I have to stop share.
Oh,
and there's the 7.
There's the 7. Okay, the one with all the different choices. Isn't that? Oh, that's so amazing, right? Yeah. And right after her is the 8, and this one is so cool.
Yeah.
Walking away, full moon ahead. Isn't in full moon?
It is.
It's today.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's like such a. And he's got a beautiful staff. It's just,
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
Okay. So we don't know what's going to be beginning, basically. Yeah. The next.
But that's when you find out as you keep walking.
That's right. So the next trio of cards is the hopes and fears. And I really liked how
that's down here on the left.
That's down here. Yeah. So we get an upside down girl, a despondent angel and two people. So Daughter of Skulls talks to, it's the same as the Page of Pentacles or the Child of Earth. Steady and secure materialization, infinite potential, birth, pregnancy, limitless possibility, completion, abundance, perfect balance. So this would be a hope. Yeah. So
that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Complete earthly happiness, pure creation, opportunity, generous, beautiful, sensual, natural impulses, enrichment, benevolence, all of those wonderful things. So,
and that's from the Tarot of Vampires.
But it's reversed.
Yeah.
So the fear comes in here, so that we're talking disharmony, immoderate, wasteful, distraction, discomfort, empty, disappointment, anticlimax, insipid income, uncommitted, unwelcome news, inconsistency, brooding, and fantasizing. So basically, that would be a fear.
Fear.
All these hopes and fears are right on, is what I wrote. The next hope and fears, 9 of Scrolls, upright. So corresponds to the 9 of Swords.
Okay, or the air, 9 of air.
9 of air.
Which is holding on to the
standing stone.
Yes.
Illustrates despair and anguish brought about by subconsciously entombed aspects of the personality. This card means you're struggling with overblown fears. Upon introspection, you may find you're projecting long repressed issues onto family and friends. Nightmares can result from entombed guilt, regret, and other emotional baggage. The turmoil will dissipate as you assume greater responsibility for your own well-being. So, and then the last of the hopes and fears is the 7 of Pentacles, upright, which is a card of harvest and reward. Yeah. So this would be a hope. So the last 2 cards, definitely. And Daughter of Skulls, all 3 of those cards are really very appropriate for hopes and fears. So the next trio is about inner strength. Yeah. So the first card I get is the Empress, upright. And it's you can't see it in this reading. I wish you could. She is the most beautiful Highland cow, and she's lying in a meadow with mountains above her, and there's flowers around her. It reminds me of Ferdinand the Bull, except that it's a girl.
I have that card.
Do you? Oh, it is so beautiful.
I mean, I have that deck.
Well, so you've got that card too. So the inner strength, the Empress, the cow, has long been a symbol of divine feminine energy. Her milk is used to nourish not just her own children, but the children of many other species. The Empress is the embodiment of the Divine Mother, ever giving love and life, nurturing all of her creations and providing them with the nourishment they require to grow. The Empress is the vessel from which great things spring forth. Throughout history, it was the Empress who bore the continued bloodlines of the ruling imperial family. Today, she bears the bloodlines of all that can be manifested into physical form. Be it an idea, dream, or goal that is making its way into the physical world, the Empress is here to guide you through all of the stages. So the inner strength of the Empress is there.
Our heart gardens.
Yeah, that too.
No, it's so perfect for it because that's what she's all about, the abundance of our heart gardens.
Yeah. The next inner strength is Explorer of Fire reversed. So this is the same as Explorer of Fire from the Gaian Tarot. And
he's looking into the fire.
And this is the inner strength. And so when you think about the fire dancer, find the still center in the midst of the fire dance. Be aware of a volatile temper or situation. Someone may be headstrong or lack self-discipline, making them more reckless than courageous. Is the fastest or most exciting way necessarily the best way to move forward? in this case, the answer is yes. This is one of my inner strengths.
Mm-hmm.
Being impetuous, being, fire forward, seeking my balance. This does seem to me to be an inner strength of mine. The third inner strength card is the King of Wands reversed.
Really?
The King of Wands.
Elder of Wands. The Elder of Fire.
Yeah.
Oh, she's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. This card signifies the politician, the writer, the wordsmith, the poet, the idealist, the humanitarian, the public speaker, the activist, lodge member, a man with political ideals and ambition. He has the ability to work with others for the sake of humanity. It is also the genius that buds from the common man. And it is reversed.
It's reversed?
It is reversed.
Maybe it's not a man, it's a woman.
That could definitely be it. And it's actually, I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, because
doing it a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Doing it the woman's way. And don't forget the shaman is in there.
Yeah.
She's a shaman.
She really is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a source of strength for me.
Absolutely.
And so positive energies come up next. And we have Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords is from the Enchanted Tarot. The dream, a rite of passage. The difficulties encountered had to be faced and dealt with before life could proceed in a fulfilling way. The awakening. A difficult cycle is now ending. The passage will be smooth after a few tumultuous waves of transition. And the enchantment. Visualize a situation that you would like to change. Imagine you have already achieved the new situation and empower your vision with this chant. Think a new thought, dream a new dream. This new direction will wipe the slate clean.
I like that.
And sixes are always peak experiences.
And their foundation is the Lovers.
Yes.
I always look at the major that goes with any, and the sixes are always the foundation is the Lovers.
Right.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So positive energies, love, and swords are words.
Working together as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very good.
Positive energies. Second card is the Hierophant.
Ooh, teacher.
Yes. Indicates a time of teaching and learning, for the two are intertwined. Even though you may be technically the teacher, you're also learning, and every student gives their teacher something the instructor did not have before. If you are called to teach formally or otherwise, give your knowledge freely and with a light hand. Let your students explore your offerings, blend them into their own history, and create their own unique wisdom. If playing the role of student, be an active participant, measuring the instruction against your own experiences and beliefs. Whatever part you play, at the end of the day, the only common lesson is to dance your wisdom. In other words, walk your talk.
Yeah. Very nice.
I love that. And he's a beautiful Hierophant. It's from the Hidden Realm. Right there.
Oh, okay.
And the third card is
I have the
Star.
Hidden Realm.
Do you? So
I do.
You know him.
Yeah, I have. Gosh, it's a gorgeous. It's really difficult to understand, but it's a gorgeous deck.
Nice. Yeah. And the third positive energy is the Star.
Yay!
Yay! And that's from the Gaia Tarot. So to me, the positive energy that talks to me about the Gaia Tarot as well.
Absolutely.
Now, this talks about it as a most blessed time of hope, peace and well-being. You may experience yourself as part of a cosmic pattern connected to everything else in the universe. Begin the practice of gratitude, of giving thanks. Follow your star, for it will guide you home. And that's just beautiful.
It is. It is. I bought, that was one of the paintings or whatever I bought the
star from her.
The
from
star,
Joanna.
Yeah, from Joanna. And also the other one was the Elder of Fire.
And you didn't buy the Magician?
I asked to try and get the Magician later, and every time I asked, it was not among the stuff.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, but I have the card.
Yep, you have the card.
Good enough.
Okay, so we're going on to the negative energies. And the 3 cards include the 8 of Wands, the 3 of Earth, and the 9 of Pentacles. So the 8 of Wands is upright. It's from the Paulina Tarot. And it's back here.
That's the
yes, this yeah, exactly. And they've got like 8 wands, like swords, or rather spears, around this girl who's walking through this blue, and she's got flowers coming out of her head. And so the determined girl moves swiftly toward her goal, being careful not to slip. Flowers growing from her head blossom like new ideas that need to be cultivated immediately.
Or she might miss them.
Well, yeah, it's like she's got so much going on, and she's got no place to plant those ideas. Right. And the negative energies, I've got to say, this does seem to be one of the negative energies that I'm dealing with.
Too many things.
Yeah.
And not enough time.
Yeah. And
not enough you.
Not enough me.
You don't, how can you do it all? Yeah.
Yeah. And the next one is the 3 of Earth in the Gaian Tarot, and it's reversed. Ooh. And so the shadow side, you may have not yet found a community where you feel at home. It's time to seek one out, or better yet, create one. Find others with mutual interests and start a gathering in your home, at a local bookstore, community center. Reach out to others.
Our heart gardens.
Oh, yeah. Reach out to others and find a community of kindred spirits. And yeah.
That's what
and while it's a negative energy, the fact that I don't have a place, that can be turned to, fulfilling a need. It's like, Joanne, she needs a place. If I go herring off into the distance, what about her? If I'm going to have this wistful leaving, I want her to be in a good place.
Right.
Otherwise, leaving would not be wistful. It would be, heartrending. So that's a negative part.
Right. But again, departure or leaving someone is always a difficult thing.
Yeah.
Leaving a situation, even, not even a person.
Absolutely.
But, it's always a difficult thing.
Yeah. So the last one of the negative energies is the 9 of Pentacles, the 9 of Earth. What is that one?
The 9 of Earth is going to be Joanna standing in the...
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Standing in the lavender field. And this says a young woman, very beautiful.
Yeah.
And this is upright. So how this can be a negative energy, I'm not quite...
I didn't really understand that either. But on the other hand, if you're standing alone by yourself,
well,
that's it's, in other words, and you are always with people. So, but don't don't always.
Well, I asked, how could this be a negative? And what I came up with, perhaps by being or acting sure or satisfied that I have arrived.
Is negative?
It could be seen as negative because, how can I deserve and be so satisfied when the world is going to hell in a handbasket? You know what I'm saying?
And you also said that you could always put aside the card that doesn't fit.
That's true.
In the energies.
That's true. So this one doesn't fit, I would think. Yeah. And that would have to be clear. Yeah. Even so, the 3 cards before were all so perfect. The 6 of Swords, the Teacher, and the Star. I mean, all 3 of those were perfect.
Yeah.
But this one, I have to say that it's the other 2, and it's the things coming at you. So, and not having a place to plant my ideas, and not having a community. Right. And those are negative energies, and absolutely true. Thank you very much, Joan, for helping me through that one.
Oh, you're welcome.
Final outcome comes to 4 of Water, reversed.
Is it reversed?
The Ace of Wands upright, and the 6 of Pentacles upright. And so going first to the 4 of Water reversed, and my comment is, I hope this is not the outcome that results. The other cards are so good, so I feel confident this one can be discarded. Although I do like the first part of the upright, it brings with it the promise of healing of some sort.
Right.
But the shadow side of this card indicates ignoring a situation that needs attention. The situation needs to be attended to, or the resulting festering could cause irreparable damage. Now, I don't think that's where we're at all.
No.
And I don't think that's where we're going. That's...
No, and again, it's a choice.
Card. Yeah. So the final outcome, next option is the Ace of Wands upright. So Ace of Wands, that would be...
that's the little, my little sweetie.
Dragon, the final outcome. This is the card. And it's not in this reading, but in the Gaia Tarot, this is the card that I always equate with the rising of the one that we are. The being that is becoming, and the heart of which is the decentralized heart that is our heart gardens.
Yeah.
So to have this come as the final outcome feels really, really nice and warm.
Very perfect.
The Ace of Wands represents a new creative venture or opportunity, inspiration, ambition, and potential. Move forward toward a goal with enthusiasm and confidence. Creative energy abounds. It is time to harness that energy and move forward, putting fears aside to cultivate a dream.
There you go.
There you go. I like that as an outcome. The other outcome that I also really like is the 6 of Pentacles, the 6 of Earth. And this is from the Tarot Royale. And he has his pentacles. And it is such a beautiful deck.
Card. Oh, I know.
God, that card is just so beautiful.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
A well-dressed merchant weighs pentacles on a scale of what is just, while distributing pentacles to those in need. By doing so, the scale of giving versus receiving is balanced. His act of giving signifies his trust in the abundance of the universe. You may soon be able to share your resources, or you may be on the receiving end of a windfall or gift of some sort. The 6 of Pentacles is often considered to be a lucky card and gives the other cards around it a positive aspect. So There you go.
Nice.
I was very pleased with
very,
that.
Very good reading.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So while we didn't start a new reading, I was able to share a reading that was very timely, and it was drawn for the full moon. So I'm completely happy with that.
And it's a 36 card reading.
Isn't that amazing? Oh, that's the most cards I've had on a table.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can do that with the Fool's Dog app, because they've used so many decks. Yeah. And you would never do something like that at home, because then you'd have to split them all back out again.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. That the Fool's Dog would come up with such an app. What an amazing accomplishment.
Yeah. I was, I got the original Fool's Dog, which was 6 decks. They were good and it was interesting. And then I got the other Fool's Dog when I got my second tablet, and it was so many decks, some of which I'd never seen, many of which I had gotten glimpses of, and oh gosh, they're
amazing. So beautiful. And you just have to know that after an hour, it will shut you down in the middle of a reading, and you've gone to all that trouble, and just it's gone. It's, oh, you can't do that.
Really?
That had to happen twice before I learned. So I am a little more swift now in my playing. And so when I share my reading in the images, I work with it in the email that I send myself, and then I
that's a good
manipulate
idea.
it from there.
Yeah, very good.
Very, very useful. And truly, I don't have to do that. Well, I wouldn't if I didn't be who I am. And I like to put it in a form that is available on my website.
Yeah.
And that I'm working on with my good friend Joan. And I look forward to, I hope, to getting something up with Leah and seeing how that works.
I would like to hear how that is, because it sounds very, very, very fascinating and very helpful.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing what unfolds.
Yeah.
Well, it's now 7:51, and I'd like to just take a moment to do a little breathing and acknowledging. Because we've been working hard. We've done a lot of thinking. We've endured a lot of physical, some of us, pain, and just the regular slogging through time that is required of us as human beings. And I would like to invite the color yellow to come into your heart. The power of the sunshine and the uncommon medicine of dandelion. Allow the gratefulness to bubble up in you, in me, in us, for the springtime and the glory of yellow. And breathe that in all the way down to your toes. Imagine your toes deep in the green where the yellow grows. And bring those colors up into your heart. And know that as the colors grow, so does your soul deep inside of you. And thank you for coming to Gaia's Zoom Room tonight.
It's been the fun part.
It is the fun part.
Yeah. Which chakra is yellow?
Yellow. Throat, I believe.
Throat chakra. Good.
Enjoy. Bye.
You as well.